Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Silver prices are still sitting extremely high, around $23. Now, most people would have thought silver would have corrected or shot down by now since the price was so elevated and it happened so fast. But silver is still sitting extremely pretty. Now, that means there's a lot of support, there's a lot of stability, and people are still buying, and it's still bullish. Now, there is a lot more room to run, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video, talking about how silver could hit triple digits. Now, I've been talking about $50 silver, $100 silver for quite some time now, for the past year or so. Many people thought I was crazy. Many people called me a silver pumper, and I'm definitely not a silver pumper. I just saw the signals. I saw everything that could affect silver prices, and it all looked bullish. From supply and demand, growing demand, falling supply, from the Fed pumping in all this money, this stimulus. I saw everything from 5G technology, from solar panels. I just saw it. It was all making sense, right? It was all pointing towards higher silver prices, especially since I knew the 2020 presidential election was coming up as well. It all started from the U.S.-China trade negotiation. That's really where I saw the opportunity for silver to expand and to explode. But I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I never once said it would happen overnight. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. It's not even going to happen next year. Right? If we compare it back to 2008 when we saw $50 silver in 2011, it took 3 years. And that was still extremely fast. And you can see it was fast because silver didn't stay up to that $50 level for too long. See, if you want the price to stay at $50 or to go up to $100, it has to be a more gradual approach. And that's where a lot of people are going to lose interest because a lot of people aren't patient. A lot of people aren't in precious metals for the right reason. If you're in precious metals just for a quick bang for your buck, well, you're looking at the wrong type of investment. You might as well get into Bitcoin or stocks or something because precious metals, silver, is a much slower investment, and it's more of a preservation of wealth. It's a hedge against inflation. You're preserving your money as the dollar collapses. Right? The dollar's lost 98% of its purchasing power due to inflation, and it's only going to get lower, right? It's only going to get lower, so you can hold your hard-earned money, your wealth, into precious metals almost as a time capsule, because gold and silver is timeless and priceless. It lives on among and beyond the economy's time frame. Right? Back in the day, $50 could get, or 50 cents could get you a gallon of gas. Nowadays, 50 cents can still get you a gallon of gas if that's a walking liberty, right? You could go to the gas station, hand them a 50-cent walking liberty back in the day, fill your tank. Today you can still do that as long as it's a walking liberty. You could take that 50-cent walking liberty piece, go to your coin shop, sell it for $6, $7, fill your tank. See, silver is timeless, but money, fiat money, isn't. That's why you wanna invest, right? So anyways, I just wanted to give that little disclaimer before we jumped into this, because anytime we talk about extremely high silver prices, people get a little skeptical. Well, I definitely want you to see the bigger picture and just look at this, and by the end of the video you can give your opinion. So silver could hit triple digits. The silver bull market has awakened. Silver is being pulled by the gold bull market and may have a lot of catching up to do. It's possible silver hits triple digits. Beyond its relationship to gold, the risk of inflation and negative real yields provides further support for precious metals. See, there's so many reasons why silver could explode or is exploding, and how it could stay higher. A lot of people were talking about the monetary metal, how silver is a win-win situation, how it's benefited from as a safe haven, but it's also benefited from an industrial metal, which gold isn't. On July 16th, Sprott filed a short-form shelf prospectus for its silver trust, PSLV. This filing enables Sprott to raise up to $1.5 billion, which would be directly used to buy silver bullion. At today's July 22nd, 2020 closing price, that equates to roughly 65 million ounces of silver. In 2019, total global silver production was 836 million ounces. In other words, Sprott's filing, if fully subscribed, equates to almost 8% of annual mine production. This is a major market-moving event, and move markets it did. Since the filing, SLV is up about 15%. I believe it has room to rise much further. So you can see Mexico and Peru, they equate for, nearly 40% of the global silver production. And we know from this pandemic, things have been a lot harder. Things have been grinded to a halt. A lot of mines shut down. Even transporting it, since there's so many boundaries and with transportation, COVID has definitely caused the whole mining, the global production of silver and gold to really be thrown off track. And that's extremely important to realize, and it's relevant to nowadays, especially as more people want silver and want to get their hands on silver, but there just isn't the silver to get your hands on. Sprott's filing has ignited the market and likely put the squeeze on silver short positions. Indeed, this move probably reminds investors of how the Hunt brothers cornered the relatively small global silver market in 1979. Between January 1st, 1979 and January 18th, 1980, silver skyrocketed by 713% as the Hunt brothers gained control over approximately a third of the market. While the price eventually crashed, this was a lesson not easily forgotten by those exposed to the market. Such a market development could easily send silver to triple digits today. While I don't foresee anyone trying to replicate what the Hunt brothers did in 1979, I do believe nobody wants to get caught up on the wrong side of that trade. Any whiff of large buying could quickly send shorts covering. We are likely witnessing that right now. So here we go to the gold to silver ratio, right? Let's set aside speculation about investor demand for silver and instead focus on silver's historical relationship to gold. This relationship alone implies a much higher price target for silver. Between 1687 and 2019, the gold to silver ratio has ranged from 14 to 1 to 99 to 1. Over this period, the average gold to silver ratio was 28. On July 22nd, 2020, the gold to silver ratio was 80 to 1. Now, valuing precious metals which don't provide a cash flow is an art form. There is no absolute correct way to do it. Nobody can say what the correct gold to silver ratio is, but we can use history as a guide. Based on the historical average ratio of 28 to 1, the price of silver would be about $66 per ounce. One of the factors driving the price relationship between any two commodities is how much each item exists, right? According to the CRC Handbook of Chemistry and Physics, every kilogram of the Earth's crust, for every kilogram of the Earth's crust, there is 0.075 milligrams of silver and 0.004 milligrams of gold. This implies that there is 18 times more silver on the planet than gold. Using today's gold price, this ratio implies that silver is worth just under $100 per ounce, right? And this is the spectrum I like to go by because it comes out of the ground roughly 8 to 1. Now, there's around 18 times more silver, but miners digging it out the ground, it's around 8 to 1. Silver's found from byproduct from gold, lead, and zinc. So silver's not as profitable, so miners don't focus on it as much. But even at 18 to 1, with the ratio as high as 125 to 1, it shows how undervalued silver is. Both of these long-term gold to silver ratios were vastly different from the current ratio. While there is no hard there's no hard and fast rule that the ratio must adjust, the significant deviation from the norm implies that silver is undervalued relative to gold. Where gold goes, silver follows. Silver is gold's little brother. It's no surprise that M2 money supply has recently exploded as central banks and governments attempt to support their collapsing economies. I recently examined gold's relationship to money supply. I won't rehash the entire article, but I concluded that if the gold price to M2 ratio was to return to the 2011 level, that would imply a gold price of $3,465 per ounce. If this were to take place based on historical average gold to silver ratios identified above, the price of silver could eventually reach between $123 and $184 per ounce because silver does carry off of gold's back. It's usually a couple weeks or a couple months afterwards, but silver does, and it's to a more dramatic effect. It's to a higher degree because silver is more volatile since it's a smaller market. So the return of inflation. It would be unreasonable to simply argue that silver prices should rise because gold prices are rising. The question should be, or one should ask, is why? And that's what I've been talking about a lot the past week or so. So in a nutshell, central bank credibility is being tested as they overstretch their reach in their efforts to resuscitate the collapsing economy. Unlike 2009 crisis, newly created money is no longer trapped in the banking system. While the worry of the movement or the moment is deflation as monetary stimulus increasingly circumvents the economy or the monetary policy transmission mechanism and is placed directly in the hands of consumer and businesses. The probability of future inflation surprises is rising. Of course, investors know the current monetary stimulus won't stop at $3 trillion in M2 creation. By the way, we're in trillions of dollars now. Back in 2008, it was billions of dollars, so we've definitely stepped up. So as the economic crisis drags on, we will see trillions in additional monetary and fiscal support. And once unthinkable policies like universal basic income and modern monetary theory may become reality. The key to this point, however, is that as inflation pushes upper boundary of the Federal Reserve's 2% target bond yields will likely remain suppressed. As I've written previously, low falling negative real yields are the key ingredients to gold bull markets and are highly supportive of precious metals in general. So I love this article because it not only does it show both sides of the coin, no pun intended, where we're talking about overspending from the feds, talking about trillions of dollars now, but it also does go into supply and demand, right? It goes more into the supply side, the production side. But when we're looking at this, so many different things do affect silver's price that you have to look at you have to incorporate all these in your decision. And when you're looking at this, you can't just look at one thing and say, oh, silver is going up because of this. No, it's going up because of this, and this. So right now, silver, the perfect storm for silver has set in. The stars have aligned, and silver is looking like it could go a lot higher. I'm not just saying that because I love silver. I'm looking at this realistically, and that's what I've been talking about for the past 3 years on this channel. I was talking about all the potential, it just hasn't happened yet, but now it's actually happening. I've also said something big needs to happen for it to really explode, to really get to astronomical levels, and I think the 2020 presidential election might be that situation to do it. So anyways, if you love precious metals, make sure to smash that like button. If you love silver, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I post daily videos. We're on the way to 29,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys for the insane amount of support. If you want to stay up to date on a day-to-day basis what's happening in the world of precious metals, you definitely want to subscribe, turn on post notifications, because I post 2 to 3 videos a day giving you the newest, latest, freshest information, and you definitely want to stay in tune, especially right now as everything is happening. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this video up here. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.